not a YouTuber, just like making videos. When I last left off, I showed you a clip of some white guy, some pompous dinosaur, saying that black people have smaller brains than whites. That's the reason why we perform. That's why we're supposedly athletically superior. And white people can't compete in this this athletic realm because they have these big brains weighing them down. I'm thinking ooh. So I'm like, and I said that I was going to debunk this theory because, you know, this theory is not going to debunk itself. But what his dissertation was laughable. You know, it was complete boulder dash. But what I want to, the synopsis of here, I want to get into white racism and the type of malarkey black people have to put up with. Because really, what he says is, what he said was something that you listen to and laugh and just don't pay it no attention. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't deserve that attention. But, you know what I'm saying? I need material to make a YouTube video, so here we go. But I also, you know what I'm saying, put that clip together to show these Uncle Bucks, these coons, these banjo pluckers, these bootlickers, that, you know what I'm saying, this is what they think about us. I'm like, it doesn't matter if a black person votes Republican or stops committing crime and every single black person becomes a model citizen. White people do not think that we are as intelligent as they are. You know, it's just how it is. You know, they look at their achievements and compliments and cities that they've built or whatever, their architects, and then they look at Africa and they look, oh, they still have dirt roads and this and that, and you know, they just don't think we're intelligent as them. So, you know what I'm saying, you can talk about black people should be doing this or should be doing that, but, and so forth. Now, let me really break into his arguments, you know, the big brain thing. First of all, men have larger brains than females. So would you say that men are more intelligent than women? I'm pretty sure most women would disagree. Yeah, and there's really no evidence that men are smarter than women. Because basically, a bigger brain doesn't mean bigger intelligence. You know, that's I'm like, you can look that up, you know, and especially when you go into the genotypes of human beings, I'm like, there's no I'm like, how much larger does a brain have to be for the cranium containing the brain for it to, you know what I'm saying, really be super smart? You know, you see what I'm saying? It's like, if black people's brains are smaller, but they're still with, you know what I'm saying, a smaller brain, you're still able to achieve the same academics as a white person does. You know, and throughout history, black people, we've built boats, you know what I'm saying, built civilizations on our own, created mathematical systems of chemistry and so forth. And even in Western civilization, you know, we have our neurosurgeons and scientists and so forth, guy who invented the almanac and so forth. So, and if white people's big enormous brains are weighing them down, and you can achieve such great heights with a smaller brain, then hence a bigger brain has to be such of a hindrance. That has to be a handicap. You know, you see what I mean? Hence, a bigger brain doesn't mean bigger intelligence. But, you know, it's like that Paul Mooney joke, I guess. Well, I'm gonna switch it up where he says, a white, you know what I'm saying, say he hates seeing a homeless white person because it means it's a waste of white skin, because he's talking about white privilege in our society. I guess I'll say that if I believe that white people do have these bigger, smarter brains, seeing a homeless white person is a waste of a brain, because they could be out, you know, smashing atoms or doing some kind of, help building some kind of new rocket ship or some forth. But also, this guy was he was ego coasting white people, you know what I'm saying, since they can't measure up, since they aren't measuring up to black people in the athletic realm, he's saying, oh, it's okay. We have these big brains and it's kind of hard for us to maneuver and do the things that they do. I'm like, it is so fucking ridiculous when I think about it. I think I'm gonna share that video on Facebook. I'm like, it's just laughable. And that there's some people out there that'll actually believe this rhetoric. There's some white dudes that'll probably listen to this guy and take what he says for face value, and then talking amongst his white friends in a coffee shop, he wants to feel real smart and be like, hey, you know what, Jill? You know why those black guys are kicking our asses in basketball and so much? Is because they have smaller brains. Yep. You know, we have large brains and so forth. It's hard for us to walk on balance or run fast because it's weighing us down. I'm like, first of all, but the white guy, you know what I'm saying, this moron who put together his little presentation, he contradicted himself. I'm like, first he says that the reason why black people are, you know what I'm saying, you know, our physical stature, it may be superior to whites, you know, our bodies and the way we run and jump, because he said that we have more muscle tone, less fat, quicker twitch muscles, elongated limbs, longer limbs, and so forth, you know. And then he says, oh yeah, smaller brains. Oh, I'm like, I would have thought, you know what I'm saying, just being a better built machine would make us outdo white people in the athletic arena. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? So you mean that it's just a smaller brain now? That a black person can still have the same physical as a white person, but a smaller brain would mean that we're able to run faster and this and that. That hints that if our brains were the same, the fact that we have broader shoulders, you know, should be enough for us to balance a heavy brain. If our brains, but hence, if we have smaller brains, then what's the need of having broader shoulders and having more muscles, since we're not carrying a heavy brain? You see what I'm saying? What he says don't make any sense, you know, but he's just playing his music, you know, for a crowd that wants to eat this rhetoric up to kind of prove to themselves that they are superiors. Now, as I said, these kind of racists are dangerous, because they're the type of racists that's going to maneuver and, you know what I'm saying, and navigate them ways in a high society. Because there's a lot of racist whites that don't want to be affiliated with those hairy-knuckled Ku Klux Klan members or those oily-fingered neo-Nazis. They're saying, oh no, we're not like these guys. We're not like the you know what I'm saying, these racist numbskulls, these Neanderthals over here. But you know what I'm saying. But we can still kind of prove that black people are inferior on a scientific level. And white people have a god-awful track record to try to prove that black people are inferior with you know what I'm saying, inaccurate data or stuff that they've made up throughout history, and it has been debunked, you know what I'm saying, time and time again. There's a time when they said black people we can control our fucking heart rates, or we can stop our pulse, and we can play dead like a pop, all kind of shit. And but then now I'm gonna believe this. I'm like, okay, yeah, our data back in the days was wrong, but we have more accurate data right now. You know what I'm saying? This is proof positive and this and that. And this guy who did this dissertation used all these fucking fancy ass words and this and that. I've seen right through his fucking malarkey. But this guy was part of the American Renaissance, which the American Renaissance that's what started up by Jared Taylor. And Jared Taylor is a known racist. You know, and also Jared Taylor, I got you on my sights. You're about to go on that skillet. You know, I'm making an appointment with you, Jared Taylor. I just, you know what I'm saying, debunk and destroyed your little underling. Yeah, black people do have these small, puny brains you know, can we use that as a handicap? You know what I'm saying? Can I get a disability check? You know, white people don't like us to use excuses. Like, don't, you know what I'm saying, don't use excuses why you're failing in life and this and that, or why you can't get a job, or why you can't excel or whatever. But then I'll just go by this guy's theory. I'm like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to get a job, you know what I'm saying? I should be able to get a disability check or or just get welfare or whatever, you know what I'm saying? I just got this small brain and it's hard for me to compete, you know, go to college and compete in the workplace or whatever. You know, the actions of putting together a hamburger is just too complex for my puny brain, you know what I'm saying? I should have played basketball for a living, but hence, you know, so can I use the fact that I have a small brain as an excuse of why, you know what I'm saying, I haven't achieved anything in life? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that I haven't achieved anything in life, but I can use this as an excuse. You know, I can be like, hey, you know, my brain's is not as big as white people, so, you know what I'm saying, you can't you can't fault me for wanting to sit around on my ass and drink 40 bottles and collect welfare checks and collect food stamps. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not mentally capable to function well in a modern westernized society that was created by big brains. You know, so that's all I'm saying. I'm out.